Hello, I'm Jim Miller, and I'm here with Bob Bruchey, Art Callaham, and Heather Guessford, and you are watching the special anniversary edition of The Flipside. So today is a red liner date for The Flipside, as this is our 1-year anniversary. We will get back to our cake and anniversary celebration a little later in the show, but now let's turn our attention to the city of Hagerstown. If you own a property in the city, if you are a landlord in the city, or if you've ever parked in the city, Hagerstown Code Compliance employees may be watching you. Code Compliance is a city department responsible for assuring compliance with many city laws, and in recent years, the size and scope of this department's influence has continued to increase. Bob, is code compliance an integral part of keeping our city safe and clean, or is this just Big Brother stepping into our lives once again?
Well, Jim, it's not as simple as yes or no, okay? I believe that code compliance most definitely has a place when you talk about public safety and you talk about the health and welfare of citizens, all right? On the other hand, I believe it does not have a place when you talk about, in essence, Big Brother, because unfortunately, you can't control or change most human nature, and with human nature, it is only our nature that says that if you and I have an issue once, we're going to have an issue every time. And that, I believe, is part of the problem that has been created since the inception of code compliance back in 2003.
So we have, I think, 2 landlords on our panel tonight. I
do.
am one, and Miss Heather, you are one as well.
Yes.
Heather, in your experience, and I'll tell you my experience, and you tell me if you agree or disagree, but I just don't see the discretion. It's black and white, and sometimes there's a little gray.
Absolutely, there's a little gray. And what's so frustrating to me is that sometimes we take codes too literal. As a landlord in the city, someone who's lived in the city all of her life, I get frustrated by what's okay for one is not okay for the other. The issue that most resonates with me is the owner-occupied duplex, which tends to be some of the worst duplexes in town, or some of the worst properties in town, is because the owner's living on site, so you can't touch them. You know, the weeds and the cars and the front yard. But then you have a person like myself who keeps up her properties, who tries to attract good renters that they don't want to stay because they have to look out of their house and see the mess across the street, but they're protected or they're excluded because they're owner occupied. That's not okay.
And by the way, it's going to cost you more starting this year.
It is, and that is passed, so we're going up from $50 to $75, and then that $2 online service fee that I just absolutely love for registering online, which is a convenience fee. So when I register my properties online, which is costing zero manpower from any city employee to physically mail the registration application, put it in that envelope, walk the envelope to the mail basket, the mail carrier to deliver it, and then I have to return all of that, so that takes someone to process that mail. But yet I'm doing everything online, paying online with the credit card, but it costs an additional $2.
So I think what you're paying for the city's convenience, Heather.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I don't understand.
So
Why
we
would
make
you ever
it-
do that?
We make
Bob?
it so difficult for landlords in the city when you can drive 15 minutes north or 15 minutes south, and they have zero of these regulations.
So Bob, would you agree that we've hit Heather's hot button for the evening?
I think we have, yes, yes, without a doubt. And I don't blame her. I mean, I don't own property in the city except for my house, okay? But, when I was mayor, and one of the things, the first issues that I dealt with back in 2006 when I was appointed was code compliance. I didn't believe in it because in 2003 with its inception, I said, guys, we already have laws on the books. Let's try to enforce them first before we create new ones. And we went from zero code compliance to a department of 8 people, all right, with a budget, and this is unfortunately 0405's budget, with a budget of $571,000.
And it's going to go up.
And this is right. This is 0405.
Right.
I mean, you can't even get a real number now.
Right.
Because now, since we consolidated departments, we put them in with inspections and stuff like that, regular inspections. So now it's all mixed together, and you can't divvy out who's being charged for what and where the revenue's coming. But in 04, 05, this is a program that was put in place, remember, because it was promised by the city of Hagerstown to be self-sufficient, self-paying.
Right.
Okay? In 04, 05, the subsidy from us taxpayers who don't own property, except our own, was $247,000.
So it's not self-supporting.
It has never been.
And Art, you know what? This does not just affect the landlords, does it?
No, no. But let me, Bob brings up and Heather brings up just an absolutely great point. Am I hearing that there's selective implementation of these codes? I mean, are some of the landlords getting by and others are paying the price?
Well,
is that what I'm hearing?
It's a well-known, documented fact that they will be cited and cited and cited again, and they do nothing with the citations.
Right.
So how much effort, if you're a code and compliance inspector, that you're going to keep going out to said property when you know the landlord or the property owner or the property management company is just going to ignore your citations, or they're joking, they don't take it seriously. So maybe you're going to go after, the Jims or the Heathers because I'm afraid.
Because you comply.
I'm afraid not to comply
You
because
comply.
I do comply.
Sure you do.
But then you're going to cite me for a piece of chipping paint on the third-story attic window that no kid can go in and teeth on, so there's no lead paint, threat there. But something that people can't see, you can't get to, it's like, how hard do you have to look to find that when I'm literally staring at a hoarding situation across the street with weeds taller than I am, with cars in the front yard, with sofas, with squirrel infestation, and then I wonder why I don't want to live there. And when I can't keep good tenants who have, children and who are law-abiding citizens, because they got to look out their window and deal with that. And that house burnt to the ground, and the fire department had to let it burn because it was such a severe hoarding situation that they couldn't even get into the house.
Right, I remember
But
that.
that's okay
Yes.
because it's owner-occupied.
Well, and let me tell you something. I'm glad you touched on the problem, okay? The real problem. And don't get me wrong, kudos to the city of Hagerstown for trying to find something to address an issue,
Sure.
okay? The real problem isn't the buildings, all right? The real problem are the tenants.
Okay.
It's not the buildings, it's the tenants. Because what happens is, you can't change the economic makeup of downtown, okay, to bring in people with expendable income who want to live downtown and utilize the services down there until you change a socioeconomic issue in downtown.
And changing that behavior and that mindset, because
Right.
I actually had a young girl, 15, 16, a group of them, spray paint my garage. I caught them doing it, let them have it, and to where they actually broke down. And I said, do you want to live like this? Aren't you proud of your neighborhood? Aren't you embarrassed when your friends come in? She said, well, actually, we kind of feel like if it doesn't look like you have nice things, no one will want to come in and take them, or no one will want to take what you have. So that's the mindset of some of these kids or some of these families, to where they absolutely don't care. And how do you target them and say, let's try to change this learned behavior, which is recidivism. They learned that from their parents, and they've always lived in that impoverished environment or that impoverished mentality, and now it's moving into what we would typically see.
Well, I have to bring up
a nice
I
neighborhood.
have to bring up the selective compliance issue, because I think the one thing that I saw when I read the code compliance online in preparation for this is one of the people that are exempt, or one of the entities that are exempt, is the city, aka Midtown Motel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a blighted property? How many violations would that have?
Midtown Motel, the property in the first block of West Antietam Street where the sidewalk's been closed for a year because it caught on fire. If that was any other tenant or any other landlord, they wouldn't be fined. They'd be in jail. There's a difference, okay? The Midtown Motel, you're right. Plywood in the windows, just a huge violation of code, all right? Peeling paint, you name it, it's got it all. The point is, until you police your own, you should never have the right to police somebody else. Take care of your own house first.
Sure.
When you do that, then you've set an example. Then you can go and try to help everybody else's house. But take care of your own house first.
Well, before we jump off, I want to hear a quick comment. Codes are more than the codes that are applicable to landlords and to tenants and rental properties and such as that. But we have codes that cover everything from parking to hibachi ownership, as you said in the warm-up. Bob, what about this parking issue? I mean, well, no, let me phrase it this way. Who's writing these codes? I mean, are we, in the city of Hagerstown, are we writing codes that are greater than the codes put on us by the state or the federal government?
Let me tell you what, we are, and we're doing it because our big brother, which is the state of Maryland,
Right.
does it with the federal government issues,
Right.
okay? Take lead paint. Heather, you brought up lead paint. The federal government says that if, and they have a brochure that they hand out, okay, if you want to rent this property from me, I have to tell you there may be lead paint. I have to give you this information.
Right.
And then you can make a decision based on your family whether you want to rent this property or not.
And
that's
you
what the
have-
federal government's regulation
And you have to
is.
have it lead paint certified every single
Every-
time there's
every year.
a client, and every time there is a renter turnover. So if I have 2 renters in 6 months, I have to have 2 inspections in 6 months, which is well over, I think it's like $175 now.
Yeah, it's almost $300 total.
It's
for
very
2 times.
expensive
But
every
so,
time.
you know,
Even
the
though
state
you're
of
lead
Maryland
paint free 6 months ago, you have to do
enhanced
it
the
again.
Fed regulation, and so let's just enhance that.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing that's troublesome to me.
So it sounds like we are in agreement that this is, in some ways, a major issue, and I know we want to increase ownership in the city of property, and perhaps to the expense or to the detriment or the downfall of the landlords. I'm not sure this is the way to do it, but I'm going to take
Well, when
the
you have
last.
a lot of vacant rental properties coming up, then yeah, sure.
Well, and it's hard to get, again, it goes back to you can't find good tenants because who wants to live beside
Well,
these
and
houses?
you can't fund anybody to buy your rental property because it's in the city and they know what's going to happen.
Right.
But I'm going to take the last word on that. Stay tuned to the flip side, because when we come back, a viewer asks if a concept to make the downtown an education hub is really a good idea. Viewer's choice is next. Stay with us.
When Scott was just a little kid, we knew something was a little different about him.
So what do you think, Scott?
Well, I was hoping for something with flames, a big block, and a high car.
So it really wasn't a surprise when he opened up a speed shop on Marshall Street in Hagerstown. You can find performance parts at every Megamart or .com, but when you buy from Scott, your satisfaction's guaranteed.
And our prices are still as low as my socks. We still have bras.
For your car, of course.
Scott's Speed Shop on Marshall Street in Hagerstown.
The University System of Maryland at Hagerstown provides a convenient and affordable opportunity for you to meet your goals.
I graduated from Hagerstown Community College. I went into the job force and I had 3 children, and I just decided I was ready to obtain my goal of becoming a teacher.
At USMH, you can choose from more than 20 programs of study to complete your bachelor's degree or earn a master's degree.
I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be.
USMH, you're ready, we're here.
The Bottom Line Sales Event is back at Hamilton Nissan. It's our biggest sale of the year and your chance to save thousands. Get up to $5,000 off on Altimas or drive for as low as $18,600. Or choose Rogue, up to $6,000 off or as low as $19,200. New Sentras for under $16,000. Over $7,000 off on the new Pathfinder. Frontier pickups starting at only $18,100. But hurry, the Bottom Line Sales Event is for a limited time at Hamilton Nissan, your dealership for life.
If you have the audacity to believe that the massive challenge of saving for college deserves more than meager attention from your financial advisor,
If you believe that whatever you're facing, you deserve FaceTime.
Join the nearly 7 million investors who think like you do. FaceTime and Think Time make a difference.
join us.
At Edward Jones, it's how we make sense of investing.
These really are the best years of your life, so why not make the most of them at Homewood at Williamsport, conveniently located near Washington and Baltimore. We have a rich tradition of helping retirees maintain an independent social lifestyle. Homewood offers attractive, spacious cottages without any maintenance hassle or headaches, plus a vibrant social community and access to the best amenities and medical care. Woodlands Apartments with up to more than 1,200 square feet of beautiful living space. Now's the best time to look into Homewood at Williamsport. Enjoy worry-free living today and tomorrow at Homewood at Williamsport.
This week's Viewer's Choice topic comes from Joe H. of Hagerstown. Joe writes, an education hub in the city means more government buildings that we have to pay for. Wouldn't it be a better idea to put businesses downtown? I understand that this may get rid of a couple more ugly buildings, but I can't see this helping the city. Jim, what do you have to say about Joe's topic here?
Well, I say, Joe, I am for it, if only for the fact that maybe you will enroll in one of three courses: Economics 101, Intro to Business, or Basic Humanity. Because
why do you keep looking at me?
Sorry, Bob.
It's a humanitarian issue.
My name's
But
not
basic
Joe.
economics, more feet on the street.
Exactly.
Going where?
Exactly.
Downtown
Going
equals
where?
businesses. But you can't have one
going where? Doing what?
Well, the education hub downtown, as we keep talking about, we need to have businesses downtown, employers downtown, and this would be a source of employment because you have teachers and faculty and administration downtown, as well as the students and their parents that come to pick up the students downtown. However, the businesses, the retail shops that everyone keeps saying that we need, who we had before that did not have the feet on the street and the foot traffic, it's the cart before the horse. You have to have the foot traffic before the retail businesses, besides the pop-up, which is awesome that they're doing right now, but before they will be able to be sustainable. Because you can have the greatest, most unique storefront in the world, but if there's no feet on the street or no traffic to come into that business, then it's completely useless.
So the kids are going to go in that business?
No, the faculty, administrators, teachers,
and yes, maybe the kids will.
And
there's
maybe
plenty of
but
examples.
the kids do get, I'm on the board for BISFA, and the kids do get, they have a day, I think it's like every month, where they get to go, and the seniors can go to eat restaurants and of their choices, and they all go to the Rhubarb and the Plum, and they go and spend those money. And then when the parents come and pick them up, a lot of times they'll stay downtown and they'll eat, and they'll go to the Goat and have, an early dinner in some of those places, or Greens and Grains, or whatever the case may be.
I try at all costs to stay away from shopping centers, malls, that type of thing, because I just don't enjoy shopping.
I thought you were going to say downtown.
No, I go in, I get what I need, and I come out. But what strikes me is whenever I go into one of those places, most of the folks that I see buying stuff are the young folks, the college age, the high school age.
Well, I didn't want to. Let me preface something here. I didn't want to come off sounding like I'm against this, because I'm
sure.
not. Okay?
So you are against it?
I do believe that education belongs downtown. I mean, which is why I push for university.
I was going to say, Bob, you better be careful.
Yeah. So, and I believe in the expansion of USM, and I believe that we do need to focus more on maybe specialty high schools or junior high schools even. But again, these will be buildings that are owned by government that do not pay taxes. Okay. Now, you were looking at me when you said economics. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the economics are simple. All right. You can get those shops and those restaurants and all those things. Okay. But hanging your hat on an education hub to be the people that will beat those feet on the street and go to those places is probably a little bit of a dream, okay? Now, I'm saying you won't get some residual effect in that, but it's a little bit of a dream.
And I don't think it's a silver bullet.
Well, it's definitely not a
I think it's a
silver
start, and that goes with part of all of the different, I was just part of those planning committees where we're talking about expanding the Maryland Theater as well, and the A&E district, and it's just the Urban Partners. Thank you. It's just one more element, but let's also get it straight. The BISFA expansion downtown and the USMH expansion downtown, that is a public-private partnership. So I'm very privy to where the funding sources are coming from for this expansion. And in addition to that, what's going on with BISFA right now is, and this is a great problem to have, USMH has expanded so much to where BISFA is utilizing a lot of their classroom space now.
They
can't have it anymore. And that's already been said. We don't have the space for you anymore. And BISFA has to leave there, go back up to Bridge of Life just to eat their lunch. So these kids are wasting valuable time just walking, getting shuttled around town all throughout the day. That's valuable learning time, because we know what we as adults, what happened to us when we get distracted. It takes us 15 minutes to get back on track. Now pack them up, move them to USMH classroom, pack them back up, move them back over to BISFA, pack them back up, move them over to Bridge of Life for lunch. That is a lot of disorganization, and BISFA is a gem for our downtown. U.S. News and World Report, it's the top 5 school in the entire state of Maryland.
But let's jump into back to the economics. I mean, there are examples all through the United States of small towns with colleges and universities located downtown, and they're very successful.
Yes.
We send all the money we've ever had in our life to Blacksburg, Virginia. Actually, we sent it to Virginia Tech. Blacksburg, Virginia is a small town, probably reminds me even downtown of Hagerstown. And they have businesses on top of businesses on top of businesses flourishing in that area. Now granted, there's not any tax revenue from the 27,000 students that are in Virginia Tech in terms of where their residences are and things like that. But rental properties outside of the school flourishes in college towns.
Sure they do.
Places to eat, bookstores, all of those mom and pop things, those small businesses that we know are the heart of the future of Hagerstown.
Well, 2010, I pushed for the purchase of the CVS building.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Under the guise of an incubator, just so that we can control that building
Sure.
for the University of Maryland. And the next building needs to be the Delta Hosiery building. And then the next building needs to be Manny's building. And the next building, and we need to expand that. All right.
Sure.
But again, this is, and Heather, you said it, and I'm just going to quote you. This is not a silver bullet.
No,
okay?
no.
But Urban Partners Plan. Keep in mind, this is part of Urban Partners Plan too.
Sure.
So was code compliance, by the way.
Oh, I know.
So that's one
I was
for,
in the
one
next.
against.
I was in the next generation group.
So anyway, so it's important to expand education possibilities in downtown.
Here's the other point, though. I'd like to make 2 points, actually, because I think that you need to do some short-term things and you need to do some long-term things.
Most definitely.
And what I would like to think, what I hope, is that the students that are with USMH, and hopefully an expanded USMH, hopefully an expanded Barbara Ingram School for the Arts, that traffic that they do create, even though they may not be buying all of the things that we'd hope they would buy, that traffic they're creating may push some of the element that we don't want downtown out of downtown. The other thing that I'd like to think, that I'd like to believe on a long-term basis, is that by bringing these kids, these students, and remember, USMH is all about serving this community for people that can't go outside of the community to get a quality education. They can do it here through USMH. If they want an arts education, they can do it here through BISFA. In my mind, we are creating in this new generation a thought process that, hey, it's okay to be downtown. I spent my entire high school year, my entire college years downtown, and it's not so bad. I want to go back there. And I think long-term that can pay benefits economically.
In our next generation group for Urban Partners, there was, obviously a younger age group, but one of the girls was like 16, 17, and we said, what do you like to do downtown? What would you like to see downtown? And their exact response was, well, we don't really go downtown. We said, okay, well, why not? What do you like to eat? Do you go downtown to eat? And they said, no, we really like chains. And we're like, well, what kind? Olive Garden, Golden Corral. So a lot of these students or children, unless they are BISFA students or USMH, adolescents or what have you, they're not used to even eating at local places, the Rhubarb and the Plum and places like that. They're used to, again, they said their favorite restaurants, Olive Garden, Uno's and places like that. So it's doing more than just exposing them to why to live downtown or why to work downtown or why to come downtown, but it's why to patron local businesses, because the food you're going to get at some of these local establishments compared to the crap that they're serving, off the line at Ryan's or some of these trough places that they're used to going to, it's hands down, it's a totally different experience.
Well, let's run down to three, and before we get out of this segment. One, the city of Hagerstown had poo-hooed the residential housing in downtown. I mean, granted, the economy tanked, and the projects over there behind the library.
The massive property.
And so, I mean, okay, so we said, no, we're not going to do that. Then we killed the stadium, okay? Yes. And we killed the stadium in as much as the businesses that we believe, many of us believe, would have been brought to the downtown.
Right.
Now we got education. Let's do something. That's where I'm coming
Let's
from.
do something.
Let's do something.
Let's
I
do
mean, we got a
something.
councilman that carries around a damn book in his hand every day. Open it up. He was the one that supported expansion of the education community in downtown Hagerstown over the stadium. So let's open that book up and let's do some of those things. We got another council person that runs around poo-hooing business. Okay, you don't want business? Let's do something with education. I mean, we have another opportunity here. Let's not let this one get away.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was heated.
Well,
No, you get no more words.
Oh, yes, I am.
I'm so
trumping this.
We're
Okay, go
passionate.
ahead.
Hey, a $15 million project, supposedly, okay? 1.5 million that the Board of Ed wants from the city of Hagerstown. All right, not a problem. Okay. I understand that. All right, but they also need the city to build a parking deck. So now we're at $9.5 million. All right, that the city's going to put out. My question: where's that money coming from? The city council has already raised taxes 11 cents this current year. You know, they're increasing fees. They're doing things like that. Where's that money going to come?
Our rental registrations are just going to keep going up and up.
I'd argue the need for the parking deck. I mean, I would argue.
I've argued that need for 20 years.
You know, I'd argue against the need for the parking deck. I'm not sure we need another parking deck right now.
I don't think we do right now.
But if we're talking about all this traffic that we're trying to draw.
And we expand BISFA and the art school, those are high school students, we're not talking about a lot of cars down there. And if we put some dormitories in for college students, we're not going to be talking about a lot of cars for college students. So let's expand that footprint.
I'm taking over. We're cutting it off.
Go,
Coming
girl.
up on the flip side, ripped from the headlines, there is a new commissioner candidate in town, and his name is Ron Bowers. We'll hear from our panel and find out what they think about the latest candidate. Stay tuned.
The University System of Maryland at Hagerstown provides a convenient and affordable opportunity for you to meet your goals.
I graduated from Hagerstown Community College. I went into the job force and I had 3 children, and I just decided I was ready to obtain my goal of becoming a teacher.
At USMH, you can choose from more than 20 programs of study to complete your bachelor's degree or earn a master's degree.
I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be.
USMH, you're ready, we're here.
Hi, I'm Mr. CopyQuick. Most people know CopyQuick as the place to go for fast copies. As Mr. CopyQuick, I still do copies fast, but I do a lot more. I do beautiful digital color printing. I also do graphics design. Wow, I was created by my own staff, and I'm so easy to find. I'm located at 710 Oak Hill Avenue, Hagerstown. There's plenty of store-side parking, or you can visit me at copyquick.com. If you want to see how really good I am, give me a try. I'm Mr. CopyQuick.
If you have the audacity to believe that the massive challenge of saving for college deserves more than meager attention from your financial advisor,
If you believe that whatever you're facing, you deserve FaceTime.
Join the nearly 7 million investors who think like you do. FaceTime and Think Time make a difference.
join us.
At Edward Jones, it's how we make sense of investing.
Businesses depend on technology, and smart businesses are migrating to cloud computing to increase performance and functionality and to eliminate costly in-house servers. With 15 years of experience, over 100 employees, and over 1 million users converted, Planet Technologies has cloud computing solutions for large business, small business, and your business. Reach for the cloud with Planet Technologies.
Ripped from the headlines. This is a segment where we discuss local, state, and national topics that have made the headlines. Today's topic concerns a new candidate for county commissioner. In what some would call an unexpected move, all 10 members of the Democratic Central Committee chose former county commissioner Ron Bowers to run for county commissioner for the seat vacated by Larry Lorschball. Art, does this move surprise you?
No, not at all. The only thing that surprises me is why in the heck didn't Ron come out for commissioner at the beginning?
Why didn't
of
they just
the
go and put his
primary
name in at
series?
the beginning? Yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean, this thing. I mean, Ron. If you've and truthfully, let me be 100% honest with the viewers. Ron's a good friend of mine. We differ a great deal on politics. We differ a great deal on policy and some of those issues. But Ron is a good guy. He's been good for this community. In many respects, I think he has a fairly good chance of winning this election. I think the Republicans, voters in Washington County are beginning to tire a little bit of the no rhetoric that it seems to permeate from some of the county commission members right now. And so, Ron Bowers is a progressive.
But do we think the person that Ron Bowers would knock out would be the person that has the no rhetoric? Because I don't think they are.
Well,
okay, maybe one that's running that's not on, but if you look at the incumbents and who has the no rhetoric among the incumbents,
sure.
I'm not sure Ron Bowers is ever going to catch that particular person.
Well, and that may very well be true. That may very well be true. But like I say, I think he has a reasonable chance of being elected. And will I be happy with that, with him being elected? Not particularly. Because, like there I say, I have a great deal of
or there's
angst.
different levels of happiness, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to get a little sad here for that's my
I
level
was
of
extremely sad after the primary.
Oh.
But when I heard that Ron got the nod,
right,
and I heard it through the grapevine before they actually met, that he was probably going to get the nod.
Right.
And I'm a Republican.
Sure.
So, word got around, apparently.
Yeah.
But I got a little happier.
Sure.
Okay, but there is different levels of happiness. You know?
Well, and I tell you something else too that I think is maybe being overlooked by a lot of people. The newspaper did that huge article on Ron Bowers.
Sunday feature.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Front page,
the man has got the exposure. He had what,
he has
5 previous terms?
Yeah,
he's got a good following.
He's got a great. It's
absolutely.
6 previous terms, and
Five.
he's got a,
20
no,
years.
it was 6. I thought it ended in
was
1998.
five.
Well, nonetheless, 5, 6.
Yeah, this will be 6.
A lot of previous
This
terms,
will be
right, Heather?
6.
Right.
Thank you. So his last term was 1998, and the first thing, of course, you read in the paper is he's 71, and people are bringing up his age. Ron has so much enthusiasm, so much excitement, so much passion.
Absolutely.
And, Ron gets down to get down. I mean, the man is always on the go, so I could care less about his age because that's, what we're talking about now in the paper is he's 71. Ron, he's got a passion to serve. He wants to do it. He wants to be here. And I think having, 10 of his peers give him that nod, I think that's going to really be, a spark for him. That's really going to push him even more.
But remember the ultra right wing Republicans made Don Munson, long-term serving senator, they made him out to be an old man. And you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to do the same thing.
Well, it already came up. First,
yeah.
in the article, it
Yeah.
already came up.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows Ron, I mean, he's active. He's so involved in so many different things and serving on boards. And the man just wants to help, and he wants to participate, and he wants answers. And that's where sometimes, Ron's delivery has been questioned.
Leaves something to be desired.
Leaves something to be desired. However, typically, the method behind it is, there's reasons for it, and it's just his delivery at times.
You know what? I would much rather, and focusing on that part, I would much rather have someone who's delivering to me the truth, be it however way it is, than to have someone blow smoke up my butt and expect me to believe it.
Sure.
Okay, so Ron and I only had him for about 2 years when I first became mayor in 1997. And he was on the county commission.
Yeah.
He was president of the
Last year, I think it was 98.
We butt heads a couple of times, but I also found that he actually listens when you talk to him about something, and especially if you get him alone, you can have a real conversation with him, and he'll tell you. Again, he may deliver it in a certain way, but he'll tell you the truth.
He's very direct, and there's no bones about it. But if you have that conversation and you address that individual concern with Ron, my experience has been from some of the other agencies we serve on together is Ron is so loyal and dedicated to that person or to whatever that concern is or whatever that causes. He is going to fight tooth and nail to A, get answers, and B, get results.
And sometimes the answer's not yes.
Right.
Well, and in the city of Hagerstown too, we've got John Donahue. John Donahue has a following in Annapolis. Ron Bowers has a following in Annapolis. I mean, I think that Ron Bowers on the Board of County Commissioners this time around, coupled up with John Donahue, if he's able to win the representative, the delegate from the city of Hagerstown, I think that's a good potent force for us in Annapolis to get some state looks in our direction. Something that I think
well, as
is
Delaney
missing.
said, Western Maryland is
Yes,
forgotten about.
That's exactly
so
right.
I have 2 issues here, and I will preface my issue by saying that I completely agree about his passion, his interest in serving, but quite frankly, I end up on the opposite side of issues more often than I end up on the same side of issues, and that creates some. I just, from that perspective, I don't know that I could vote for him. Having said that, I have 2 what I think are pertinent questions in the last couple of seconds we have in this segment. And the first one is, and most importantly, he recently had a role with the Economic Development Commission, and that didn't end so well.
Which we've talked about on the show.
And he's going to have to deal potentially with commissioners that made decisions around that if he is elected. How does that create problems in creating a functional group of commissioners?
No.
It's a great question.
I don't think it does.
Why not?
I think it's a valid question.
It may be a valid question, but the answer is no, okay? Because I still believe even those who made it through the primary, okay, are professional enough people to welcome Ron in if he would win in the general election, and cohesively as a team they can work through issues.
Well, Ron needs
I really
to go
believe
in,
that.
Ron needs to go in more like a lamb than a bull.
Oh, he has got to go in humble.
Yeah,
he's got to go
and I think that's what Heather said.
Right, but
I have never seen the lamb
they're
side.
all professionals. They are all professionals, mind you, but we're all people too, and just something down inside
I've seen
your
Ron
gut.
be humble before.
Oh
He can
yeah,
do
me
it.
too. But
Oh Lord,
but
it's hard.
It's hard,
He
but he
can,
can
but
do it.
still, and all of our, the incumbents or the newly elected commissioners, whoever they may be, they are all professionals. But we're all humans first, and there's always that something down in your gut that it might be in the back of your mind.
Check their egos at the door.
Check their egos at the door.
Check their egos at the door.
All right. Well, listen. Go to our Facebook page at facebook.com, the Flipside TV /the Flipside TV, or email us at feedback@theflipsidetv.com. and add your opinion to this topic on our page. We'll report the best entries in next week's show. And now let's take a look at some feedback from the segment last week. Here's a great one here from Herbert C. from Halfway, suggested that we, the Flipside panel, were all wet about young Washington County athletes using human growth supplements. Herbert said Washington County coaches won't put up with that nonsense.
Well, I didn't think Washington County parents would put up with Little League managers abusing their children.
Oh yeah.
So let me say we've had some incidences of that.
Oh,
Not something
but
I'm
that's
happy
not-
about.
At Boonesboro
That's
High
not
School football
school-based.
games as well. Do you remember that Boonesboro High School football incident? That was
yeah.
last season.
So I'm not sure we're all wet.
Okay, well, Just Carroll commented that athletes and celebrities need to be role models. Those that use drugs to enhance their abilities need to go to jail, not just miss a game or two.
Yeah, that's not going to happen next.
I think
Bill,
how
you
about
got
this?
it,
I think
Carol. I'm with
parents-
you.
I think parents need to be role models. Okay?
Bill was outraged. Where are the parents?
You're right on.
Not being role models.
That's exactly right.
Homer from Wolfsville talking about the recent violence incident with Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Boy, Rice sure sent a strong message to young men that it's okay to hit a woman. Rice should spend time looking out from behind bars for that type of action. There is no excuse.
I agree.
I
2 game
absolutely agree with
suspension.
that.
Absolutely
Wow.
agree.
So,
He married her so that way she wouldn't testify against him. Anyway, thank you to all the respondents. Please keep up your comments. Keep them coming to us via email or Facebook. Stay with us because up next, Jim Miller will look at some memorable moments from the first year on the Flipside. And here, cheers.
Cheers.
1 year.
virtual.
Cheers.
Hey, where's your cup?
Virtual high
I
five.
was left out of the cup.
Hi, I'm Mr. CopyQuick. Most people know CopyQuick as the place to go for fast copies. As Mr. CopyQuick, I still do copies fast, but I do a lot more. I do beautiful digital color printing. I also do graphics design. Wow, I was created by my own staff, and I'm so easy to find. I'm located at 710 Oak Hill Avenue, Hagerstown. There's plenty of store-side parking, or you can visit me at copyquick.com. If you want to see how really good I am, give me a try. I'm Mr. CopyQuick.
Woodlands Apartments with up to more than 1,200 square feet of beautiful living space. Now's the best time to look into Homewood at Williamsport. Conveniently located close to Washington and Baltimore, we have a rich tradition of helping retirees maintain an independent social lifestyle. Homewood offers attractive, spacious cottages without any maintenance hassle or headaches, plus a vibrant social community and access to the best amenities and medical care. These really are the best years of your life, so why not make the most of them? Enjoy worry-free living today and tomorrow at Homewood at Williamsport.
Here's what our customers are saying about Wolf Furniture's showroom.
The showroom is amazing.
They have a beautiful selection.
Wolf's showroom is awesome.
Beautiful. The Wolf showroom is beautiful. Awesome.
Classy. Compared to others, very classy.
Very classy, very unique. And as Freddie said, the prices are very competitive.
Come in and see for yourself our wide selection of quality furniture at very competitive prices at Wolf Furniture.
Barbers Carson Jewelers has been your community jeweler for over 110 years. We have the region's largest selection of diamonds, designer jewelry, including bridal, gold, and silver fashion jewelry, and fine Swiss timepieces. We strive to combine quality, expert personal attention, and affordable financing to create an exceptional shopping experience aimed at exceeding your expectations. At Carson's Jewelers, there's something for everyone that will bring a smile to that someone special in your life.
The University System of Maryland at Hagerstown provides a convenient and affordable opportunity for you to meet your goals.
I graduated from Hagerstown Community College. I went into the job force and I had 3 children, and I just decided I was ready to obtain my goal of becoming a teacher.
At USMH, you can choose from more than 20 programs of study to complete your bachelor's degree or earn a master's degree.
I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be.
USMH, you're ready, we're here.
So it's time for a deviation from our normal schedule as we celebrate our 1-year anniversary for the Flipside. And during this segment, I'd like to look back at some of the highlights of the last year and some of the most memorable moments in Flipside's first year. So we put together a collection of clips from the last year. We've covered a lot of topics and we have a couple of blunders along the way. Let's take a look.
JFK, if he were alive today, he'd be in my party. He'd be a Republican.
Here we go.
We probably won't get a lot of agreement from everybody on the panel here tonight.
He would have to be. He was a conservative Democrat.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've said many, many times there are a lot of registered Democrats around here, but very few real Democrats.
But we have had some really influential female political leaders. So, I mean, but sometimes, and again, you get in certain regions of the country or the world or even the state, you know, where some men might not think that women should be in positions of power.
Oh, wait a minute. What's this all about? Everybody's looking at me. I'm already the thorn amongst 3 roses. Now it's my fault.
So show me one government entity that has taken over a private entity and done better than the private entity was doing in the first place.
Oh, wait a minute. The Affordable Care Act? No, let's not get back on that.
You mean Obamacare?
Oh, yeah.
Black Friday nationally the sales were down 13.2%, but that's because there were so many people that shopped on Thursday.
Tan Thursday.
Right.
I call that.
Yeah.
Tan
Thursday.
All yours, Brenna Bacon.
Sounds good.
If it's not the federal government talking about increases, hold on.
Cut.
Well, each week during this segment, we give...
Cut. The purpose of this photo was to highlight the fact that my business partner and wife, Dawn, had been to vote already in the morning. Some, however, looked over the sticker and focused on the breasts. So was this a case of boobs behaving badly, tatas creating turmoil, cleavage causing chaos, or memories making mayhem?
What do most big cities have in common? They're gun-free zones, quite frankly. I mean, only the criminals have guns. I'm surprised that it happened in Western Maryland where, like this owner, a lot of people have guns. So.
Well, I think he ought to put, I mean, quite honestly, I think he ought to put something on the front of his door. You know, this property is guarded by Smith & Wesson, or, you know, I mean, which would be, you know, what I'd like to do.
The most powerful handgun in the world.
That's exactly right. Are you feeling lucky?
You feel lucky?
That's it.
Well, do you?
For me, we've gotten lots of publicity in the last year and a half. You know, we've got the fattest population.
Cut. So those are our highlights. Next up, we'll bring in an extra heaping helping of panel members to give their thoughts on our first year. Stay tuned for that segment.
If you have the audacity to believe that the massive challenge of saving for college deserves more than meager attention from your financial advisor,
if you believe that whatever you're facing, you deserve FaceTime.
Join the nearly 7 million investors who think like you do. FaceTime and Think Time make a difference.
Join us.
At Edward Jones, it's how we make sense of investing.
These really are the best years of your life, so why not make the most of them at Homewood at Williamsport? Conveniently located near Washington and Baltimore, we have a rich tradition of helping retirees maintain an independent social lifestyle. Homewood offers attractive, spacious cottages without any maintenance hassle or headaches, plus a vibrant social community and access to the best amenities and medical care. Woodlands Apartments with up to more than 1,200 square feet of beautiful living space. Now's the best time to look into Homewood at Williamsport. Enjoy worry-free living today and tomorrow at Homewood at Williamsport.
Businesses depend on technology, and smart businesses are migrating to cloud computing to increase performance and functionality and to eliminate costly in-house servers. With 15 years of experience, over 100 employees, and over 1 million users converted, Planet Technologies has cloud computing solutions for large business, small business, and your business. Reach for the cloud with Planet Technologies.
The University System of Maryland at Hagerstown provides a convenient and affordable opportunity for you to meet your goals.
I graduated from Hagerstown Community College. I went into the job force and I had 3 children, and I just decided I was ready to obtain my goal of becoming a teacher.
At USMH, you can choose from more than 20 programs of study to complete your bachelor's degree or earn a master's degree.
I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be.
USMH, you're ready, we're here.
Hi, I'm Mr. CopyQuick. Most people know CopyQuick as the place to go for fast copies. As Mr. CopyQuick, I still do copies fast, but I do a lot more. I do beautiful digital color printing. I also do graphics design. Wow, I was created by my own staff, and I'm so easy to find. I'm located at 710 Oak Hill Avenue, Hagerstown. There's plenty of store-side parking, or you can visit me at copyquick.com. If you want to see how really good I am, give me a try. I'm Mr. CopyQuick.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the Flipside Flashback portion. We're here with Dave Hanlon, a former panelist. Dave, welcome back.
Welcome back to me. It's great to be here. It really is. I'm happy to be here. It's the first year, and I'm really excited for the success that Antietam Cable and you folks behind Flipside have had, and the viewers who stayed with us through over the past year.
And actually, our viewership is increasing. That's a great thing. Sure. Dave, from your perspective, what is the benefit of the Flipside to the community?
Well, for me, it gave me a lot of publicity, a lot of attention as I was still on air. That encouraged me to run for political office. Now, it didn't work out so well, but nonetheless, it showed that there was a dialogue going on in the community, and people were watching.
And that's very important. What was your favorite segment when you were on?
I can't say. They were all really tough. There were some tough ones. I know Bob Bruchey and I had a couple that were really very exciting, and we got a lot of positive feedback on those.
Any favorite issue that you had that we discussed that you want to mention on air?
No.
That's very politically correct. We may see his name on a ballot once again later. Is that possible? Well, you're not going to comment on that. Can we make an announcement here about the next political run for you?
No, I wish all the candidates who succeeded and go on to November success.
Excellent.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. Dave, it's certainly good to have you back, and we'll look forward to you being on the panel in future episodes.
Thank you, Art. We'll talk about that off air.
Good.
Excellent. All right. Okay, now we're here with Ed Lowe. Ed, welcome back to the Flipside.
Thanks, Jim. Art, it's a pleasure to be back. Good to see you again.
It's good to have you back in here. Ed's been one of our more popular panelists, I think, and so it's good to have you back on air.
Well, I haven't been here for March.
I know,
so
I
know.
That's okay.
But baseball season is just about over. You will be back, correct?
Well, Little League season actually ended last Friday, so it went from March to July 25th. So it finally concluded. Yes, it was a long season. Fun, a lot of great times, and it was great working with the kids. It always is.
So, Art, let's put him on the schedule for next week. What do you think?
I'm ready.
We're ready.
Okay.
Actually, we're on vacation next week.
Well, week after. We'll take care of it. We got to get you in with Bruchey and a couple of your other cohorts.
Is that Bob?
Yeah, Bob Bruchey.
Yeah, I think I know who he is.
Yeah. So tell me what your favorite segment was. I think I know what it was.
Well, there's two that stand out. One, the one we did about the Twinkies coming back.
Twinkies.
And we had Twinkies here, and we threw them out to the staff and everybody, and we had Twinkies. I think the most favorite one, though, which caught a lot of, I think, some heat from some folks, was when I talked about the Arctic Ocean warming up and that the
seals were dying.
The seals were dying, and the fish were out of place, and the coastal waters were going to rise, and in several years the coastal cities would be inhabitable.
And that was a liberal newspaper that printed that.
Washington Post printed that. The only problem is that it was printed in November of 1922.
1922.
Yeah, and so that was the problem, and I guess, we can look at, certainly that was on global warming.
Right.
And we know there's climate change. I mean, we had the scare in the 70s, didn't we? Of the next ice age was coming.
That's right.
You remember that?
Yes.
I mean, I went out and bought, I was in college, but I went out and bought a bunch of coats that I couldn't afford because the ice age was coming.
Going to be here.
And the only thing that those coats were good for was when we ran out of gasoline, I had to walk. Remember in the 70s when you couldn't get gasoline? So those coats at least came in handy to walk somewhere.
Well, tell me one thing. 1922, Washington Post.
Washington Post.
Yeah, Washington Post. Right. Was that before or after Al Gore invented the internet?
It was like 2 weeks before.
2 weeks before, okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
So Ed, for your final thought, when you're off camera, you often get the rest of the.
Yeah, okay. You can do one. You can do one.
Ed does a lot of voices, and I would like him to do his favorite voice with "Happy Birthday, Flipside" or something like that. Can you do it, Ed?
Happy birthday, Flint. Happy birthday, Flipside, to all you punks.
Excellent. Thank you, Ed Lowe.
Go ahead. You've made our day.
Yeah, I made your day. You made my day.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good to have you.
All right, and here is Ryan Miner. Ryan, welcome back to the Flipside.
Thanks, Jim. Good to see you guys.
How's things in school? School board.
School board. Well, we made it through, so we're. I guess we did something right. So we're looking forward to November, and we worked really hard, and we're going to begin really picking this campaign up in August, and hopefully we'll fare well.
Ryan, you were one of our sort of late arrivals, came on the panel after we've been up for about a half year or so. What do you feel are the important things that Flipside does for this community?
I think this is a great venue for our community. People who complain that they have nowhere to go for information, what better way to dissect and consume information on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this is an opportunity for people. It's also interactive because the Flipside allows people to send in different comments and different opinions, so you guys can keep refining the show.
Right. Absolutely. So what was your favorite segment? What was your favorite topic?
I think my favorite topic was definitely probably my first show. We talked about the STEM program, the Technical Middle College, and anything to do with education, but I'm a major proponent of the STEM program at HCC, and it was definitely an informative, educational topic, and I remember it well.
Now, see, I remember some of your comments around the Flipside, and I don't remember whether you were on the night that Ed Lowe said that the only thing that was working about Obamacare was the printer. But I remember some Obamacare discussions with you that stand out in my mind. So we appreciate you being involved along the way, and hope to see you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, thanks,
all right,
Ryan.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and our third interviewee is the famous Sam Cool. That's a really cool name, Sam Cool. And Sam is one of our executive producers.
That's it.
Welcome, Sam, to the Flipside. This is the first time that you've ever been on camera on the Flipside.
I prefer to be on the other side. So. Yep.
But we're glad to have you here for the first anniversary show. I know when the three of us got together, we weren't sure we were going to make a quarter.
That's right.
And here we are finishing a fourth quarter,
That's
which
right.
is not a bad deal whatsoever.
Not at all.
So, Sam, what do you think the benefit to the community of the Flipside is?
It's everything. It's informed from the fire tax to the rain tax to the politicians to the. I'll tell you, I thought I knew a little bit prior to the Flipside. Now I feel seriously very informed on certain topics I never even knew about. So.
Excellent.
I think our panelists bring a diversity
they do.
With the issues that they present and the issues that they talk about here. Mm-hmm. And I'm with you, Sam, and of course with Jim. This is good for the community to have this dialogue. There's no doubt about that.
Agreed.
I hope you'll hang around with us for the next 2 or 3 years as executive producer of the Flipside.
As long as you have me.
No.
All right, and for the cake cutting later.
Yes.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Okay, so the people that you always see on the Flipside are the people that appear on the panel. Once before, we've actually had our technical staff come behind the table and get a little time on camera. But this time, we're going to take the camera to them to see all of the cool equipment they operate here at the studio to make the Flipside work. So if you'll follow me this way, and by the way, Paul's on the camera. We'll get him in on camera as well. But here we have our control area. And this is Ethan. Ethan is running our teleprompter. Say hello to the people, Ethan.
How's it going?
So Ethan, tell me, what is it that you do? What is your role with the Flipside? What happens when somebody says, "Oh crap, get Ethan"?
I run the teleprompter. Basically, that's anytime we have a script that needs read by one of the panelists, I write it up and put it on the camera for them to read.
Excellent, thank you. And thank you for a year's worth of work. And the newest member of our technical staff, and I'm going to pull my mic cord over top of our mixer here, is Melissa. Melissa is a recent graduate of Penn State University. Go Penn State, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, Melissa, what are you doing?
I run the controls for the camera, and I also edit the show.
Excellent. So that's a few of our technical staff, and behind the camera, actually following me around, is Paul. Paul, can you turn around and do a selfie?
Probably.
All right.
And there's Paul. Welcome, Paul. All right, so it's time now to get back to our regular show, but thank you for joining us for this special Flipside Flashback.
Businesses depend on technology, and smart businesses are migrating to cloud computing to increase performance and functionality and to eliminate costly in-house servers. With 15 years of experience, over 100 employees, and over 1 million users converted, Planet Technologies has cloud computing solutions for large business, small business, and your business. Reach for the cloud with Planet Technologies.
Hi, I'm Mr. CopyQuick. Most people know CopyQuick as the place to go for fast copies. As Mr. CopyQuick, I still do copies fast, but I do a lot more. I do beautiful digital color printing. I also do graphics design. Wow, I was created by my own staff, and I'm so easy to find. I'm located at 710 Oak Hill Avenue, Hagerstown. There's plenty of store-side parking, or you can visit me at copyquick.com. If you want to see how really good I am, give me a try. I'm Mr. CopyQuick.
These really are the best years of your life, so why not make the most of them at Homewood at Williamsport, conveniently located near Washington and Baltimore. We have a rich tradition of helping retirees maintain an independent social lifestyle. Homewood offers attractive, spacious cottages without any maintenance hassle or headaches, plus a vibrant social community and access to the best amenities and medical care. Woodlands Apartments with up to more than 1,200 square feet of beautiful living space. Now's the best time to look into Homewood at Williamsport. Enjoy worry-free living today and tomorrow at Homewood at Williamsport.
If you have the audacity to believe that the massive challenge of saving for college deserves more than meager attention from your financial advisor,
If you believe that whatever you're facing, you deserve FaceTime.
Join the nearly 7 million investors who think like you do. FaceTime and Think Time make a difference.
join us.
At Edward Jones, it's how we make sense of investing.
Each week during this segment, we give each panel member a chance to say what's on their mind. Bob, what's on your mind this week?
Art, I got to tell you, I was on the way here. I had a great last call in mind that I wanted to bring up. And don't you know, coming down Frederick Street, I had to see a sight that ruined it for me.
And I bet I can guess what it was.
What do you think it was?
It was somebody with their pants down around there.
I am telling you, I just cannot understand it. I try, and I can't wrap my head around why people think that is a fashion statement, a good fashion statement, I mean, people got to understand where this came from, right? I mean, they have to know, right, that it came out of the prisons, and it meant that you were available. Now, having said that, I can only say this. You don't see women dressed with their pants pulled down under their butts and their belts tight, okay?
Right.
So what does that tell you? I mean, I guess you got to read between the lines here.
Bob, you and I have disagreed on many things, but on this one, brother, I am with you 100%. Heather, what's on your mind?
Wait, you gotta blow it up.
Oh,
you gotta do. Oh. So on my mind, I like to promote all the nonprofit stuff going on. So
Because you're on every board in town.
Yeah.
And you do it well.
So Saturday, September 13th, is going to be the second annual, Healthy Eating and Active Lifestyle, which stands for HEAL, of Washington County's Color Splash. So that is a 5K color run walk. So where you and your family and your kids and everybody.
Fairgrounds Park, right?
It's at, yep, it's at Fairgrounds Park, and you go out and you pay a registration fee. Early registration is getting ready to close. So the website escapes me, but if you just Google HEAL of Washington County or HEAL of Hagerstown, you'll be able to find the website. But it's early registration for Color Splash, and they did run out of or they had to close registration last year because it got so popular. So this year they're going to do different waves. So make sure if you want to participate in Color Splash that you get your registration in early because they're cutting it off at 2,000. 2,000, that's huge.
So they used that parking lot last year at the stadium and it was full.
Yeah, and well, in this fairgrounds, we just got, the new outdoor equipment, and HEAL had their hand in that. Chad Smith, he's on our board as well. He was integral.
Yeah, he was a part of it.
Thank you. So it's that's going to be a really exciting event coming up, and it's Saturday, September 13th.
Jim, Heather brought it up. Healthy eating.
Healthy eating.
Why don't we do a little healthy eating?
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Speaking of healthy eating, Art, can we agree to trade in our last call for some Flipside anniversary cake?
Anything for cake.
Yeah, this is healthy.
Cake. Look, come in here. Executive producer.
I don't think HEAL would like this. This is not HEAL approved.
Non-fat cake.
Do we have a
This is not HEAL approved.
What did you tell me, Heather? All you want to do is lick the icing.
I just want the icing. Y'all can eat the cake. I just want the icing.
All righty, who's cutting?
We need all of our technical staff here too.
Come on up. Come on up. We'll get us a bite of. Come on, Melissa. Paul.
I hope it's white cake under there.
I know. I hate chocolate
it's devil's food.
Oh, I don't
we've
know.
Got vanilla and we've got
Is it a little
chocolate.
mix? Okay.
Chocolate. All right.
And you know what? It's a pretty big cake, and we can have really big pieces.
Oh,
ooh, yum. Yum. No dinner tonight.
Yeah, this is definitely my dinner, though.
That's exactly right.
That's great.
Well, while we're cutting the cake, and so we can get out of here and make our executive producer happy, it's been a pleasure for a year to have everybody tuning into the Flipside. We hope you'll tune in again next week for another exciting episode of the Flipside. And thanks for all that you've done for us, the community, in this first year.
Informative and entertaining.
You got it. You got it. Good night now.
Good night.
All right.